Early Tease is back, bitches.
Shouts out Big Steve.
What's up? What's up? Welcome back. It's been a while since I've done the show, the all early tease. Just things going on. Not as much time. Contender series show every single week, podcast I should say, and just too many hours spent doing podcasts. I just need to focus on making money and doing other things. Thought I'll do one now, build, take on some momentum. In terms of what the purpose of the show is, if you're a first-time listener, we'll look at all the MMA organizations for the week with minimum tape. See where we can make money, what sticks out. Generally, this has been pretty good to me. The leans have been accurate previously. So I'm going to keep on doing it when I have time, that is. Maybe I'll have even more time to do this regularly when Contender Series is gone. Why not give it a crack, right? So we'll do a little recap, and we'll do the monthly recap, and then we'll get straight into it, right? Not waste too much time if we don't have to. Let's start with Contender Series. Best Contender Series I've had this year, although it wasn't looking that good, to be honest. Actually, what am I doing? I have it right here. So how do we start, right? Let me just see if you can see this properly. Can it get a little bit bigger? Oh, no. So how do we start, right? So we started with passing on Tainara, and I taped it when she was slight favorite money, and I was like, man, this still has potential upside. All right, doesn't matter. I just had this feeling that this wrestler was not going to cover. She's one of those girls that's, one-dimensional, no damage, and I just passed. I said maybe tomorrow when I wake up, the line's going to be better, but I knew deep down it was going to be worse. So it was worse. I passed. It is what it is. I'll talk about my passing later on when I do a monthly recap. Vallejos, I just had a little poke on Cam Teague. Maybe the low bit would have been better. The under 1.5 would have been better. No, I'm just kind of thinking, all right, it is what it is. The decisions I'm making not the best. Then we got to the GOAT fight. Kevin Christian versus Francesco Mazzeo. I just ended up playing fight ends in KO last minute. I knew the sub was live. I lost $400 there. Now I'm just thinking, man, I've got amazing reads, right? Alexia, I was going to do 1.5 units to win a unit at Juice. She would have covered. I didn't do it. I said, instead of live betting Cam and playing this juicy under 1.5, which stuck out to me because this guy's so hittable, I made the wrong decision. Then horrible bet on this fight, the Kevin Christian fight. I'm just thinking, man, I really cannot profit on Dana White Contender Series. Something just the powers to be. They don't want me to profit on Dana White Contender Series. And I'm still taping this card as I go. I just finished taping Franza. So I'm like, I don't want to face. I think the KO is the best play here, but I don't want to force anything. I don't think Kutsi is that bad, at least when fresh. I end up live betting Franza after round 1, $2.50 to win a unit, $500. It gets me break even. I'm like, thank goodness I made the right decision. At least I'm not going to lose any more money. And I just finished taping this Danilo. I know I already taped it with my boy Subliminal, and I just finished properly, and I'm like, man, this Schoenfielder guy, so hittable in a Bellator fight. Like, sure, this Danilo guy's only been fighting cab drivers, but he's good with the hands. The hands are nice. They're slick. So I look at the odds. I'm like, holy shit, $17 for round 1 and $6 for Danilo money line. I thought he could win a decision, right? He's got a combat sambo background. He's got 30 pounds on this guy. Boom, 30-second knockout. I won $1,000, $1,500. So I profit $1,050. Pardon me. So $1,050, the best Contender Series card for me, and it all happened in the last 2 fights. But to be honest, I was making bad decisions. So 1,500 there. This kind of motivated me to keep on going. End the month strong. What do we got? With Aries, I donated to this Gargoyle guy. I was going to pass, and then right before bed at 1 a.m. I usually would be in bed by like 11. This line ended up being 190. There was a lot of questions. I ended up just poking like half a unit, and he lost. The questions ended up to be the issue. He couldn't handle the cardio. He basically folded to solo, before the end of round 2. So there's something I mentioned in the recap here. So we'll about not playing a play that you're not confident about, but we'll talk about that. Brave, nothing here. There was some really good plays in the Discord. The heavyweight that won in 30 seconds. And yeah, again, the guy that I mentioned, Bakayaka on Twitter, and another boy, BSBD or FIFA Gaming, he is in here. They gave that great play. It was a pick 'em. By the time I finished taping, it moved, and then I didn't play it. But obviously, there's a lot more value. All right, this beautiful card. So this is the card that I felt like, wow, there's going to be a lot of money to be won here because I feel like all juice is going to roll. I passed on the Duncan fight, felt like a shit show. I had 2 units of Cavalcanti, 1,050 to win 500 and whatever. Pretty much went exactly as expected. I thought that was had a high chance to be 30-27. She was the only one close to finishing and split. Yeah, that's the only reason I didn't go 3 or 4 units because Cornwall and her freaking powers over the judges and France. Barres, I should have played Barres 1 unit. Something stopped me. But, you see that fight played out. Even though he got like 4 knockdowns, still at 29-28. So competitive. So, yeah, I didn't feel super comfortable relying on Barres to get knockdowns outside of moments, I should say, outside of round 1. But he covered, watching that fight at plus money. Should have been a play. Aline Perez, I liked her at chalk. I liked the under. Didn't play it. I like Lapalus as like an anchor parlay. He was never going to lose this fight. Nothing on Klein, nothing on C, nothing on Erslan, Kurlaba, nothing on Zian, Frivola. Sharia, I like the KO, didn't play it. I like Battle, didn't play it. I like the Urban, the Brito Gomez, nothing on Imov. And I really like BSD. I just thought he was going to run through him. And then as the day was going on, as the card was going on, I looked at how the fight would play out. And that's what kind of stopped me. I was like, Moicano usually gets knocked out by better boxers, right? They got good hands. BSD doesn't. He's just like a spammer, right? Rabies. And then I was really relying on BSD to get up and use his butterfly hooks or just like stand up when Moicano takes him down. But then I was like, I should expect a really high level guy like Moicano to be able to shut down those butterflies, right? He's definitely a high level jiu-jitsu practitioner. So that made me pass. And plus KO was like barely plus money. The unders was quite juiced. That should have been the play at the under 2.5, a massive value. That's what I liked initially. So, yeah, I didn't donate there. But, yeah, Benoit, just what is that performance? You would think you would at least spend 20 seconds or 30 seconds of the fight doing your hardest not to get taken down by Moicano, knowing that that's his game plan. Nah, this guy throws a reckless kick, instantly gives up the back, and then does the one thing you shouldn't do, give up his back on the ground again, to an elite back taker and an elite rear naked choker. He did show to have good back control. I think BSD's submission defense and, he's a good wrestler. I think he's overall a good grappler, but I think that exposed BSD as having really, really bad IQ. We had one fight against Dolidze when he got the crap beaten out of him by Zaleski. We had one fight when he went full time and he came back and we just had patient BSD. And in that fight, he looked like Khabib. He wasn't reckless. He set up his takedown by being patient. And then it was just all control, slow advancing. And you could see Stolze just gave up the back in round 2 because he had enough. He had enough of the top pressure. Since then, BSD has just been nothing like that. Nothing like that. Rabies against everyone. I faded him against Frivola mainly because of his hitability and Frivola's power. That was the main thing. Obviously, I knew Frivola was chinny and whatnot. But yeah, even then, pulling guillotines. And I'm like, he's only doing that because it's Frivola. He's not going to do that against Moicano. But no. We've seen that this man has, ever since the Stolze win, he's just a bit has IQ issues. So maybe after this one, because he took a beating, just like he took a beating against Zaleski, maybe he comes out patient again. Maybe that's what it took for him to realize. He's been running hot, so he's a bit overconfident. But yeah, just a little tangent then, on the main event. I'm sure a lot of people are going to have a hot take. Obviously, Moicano was the side, despite his chin issues. But for me, the under was the side. But I thought I'm glad that I didn't lock that in because that would have been tilting. So yeah, I actually went out this weekend and I didn't get a chance to cram on Saturday day before. And yeah, I'm staying optimistic. Because I know if I crammed, I would have parlayed Lapalus and maybe Perez and Battle, and it would have been a big day. But hey, it's still profit. I'm not going to be negative. I actually forgot about this PFL card. So I had one bet. I basically didn't tape any of this card. I was taping in between the UFC at 2 a.m. By the way, really hard to cram after drinking and only sleeping 2 hours. And the only thing I locked in was, where the hell are we? Oh, Danielle Miseli versus Ibrahima Mane under 1.5, $1.60. I remember having heaps of unders in the Miseli fight versus Peter Queally, and then he got toe poked in the eye, and the fight was a no contest. So I know that he's chinny, that is all his knockouts in round one, his knockout losses. And I'm like, yeah, Mane's got a couple of decisions. That's why this line is not crazy. He should run through him, and then Miseli ends up running through Mane. So there you go. Who would have thought? So yeah, I won like 370 there. I put a little bit on unit. I couldn't put too much on Pinnacle. It was like a max $600. That's all I had. And then I live bet Roger Huerta after round one. He looked to be beating the crap out of Robert Whiteford in round two. And then round three, he was winning most of the round. And then, yeah, Rob just gave up. I think he got countered. And with a minute to go, his eye got shut and he just stopped throwing. And Whiteford kind of stole it and won a 29-28 unanimously. So who would have thought that in 2024, I would be live betting, donating to Roger Huerta at 41 years of age. One of my favorite fighters back in the day. His fight versus Clay Guida, one of the best fights I've seen. Made me an instant UFC fan and Roger Huerta's fan. But yeah, he looked good. It looked good for 41 and 2-3 years layoff. So I ended up winning like 200 there, 550 on the UFC. I just left my Cavalcante bet and nothing else. So 700 there. And then my boy, UFC Betting Experience, or Ube, on Twitter, I gave him a shout out. He gave I saw K1 was on. I was like, Ube, you're the expert. Give me like your three most confident parlay picks. He gave me all these like juiced Asian guys in K1. I parlayed it. I won another 200 and something dollars. And on Ryzen, I only bet, I bet this Shabilov dude at minus 200 versus Juan Ashileta. I bet most of my stake on Bet365, and then whatever left on BetOnline. It was $750 stake. And then BetOnline, when Archuleta missed weight, Bet365 freaking voided my bet, even though the fight was still on. Because obviously, if Archuleta won, it would be no contest. But BetOnline honored it. Shout out to Dave Mason for keeping the bet. Legend. I doubt he's watching, but anyway. So I won $150 there. So that put me over $2,000 for the month. Pretty piss week. That's 4 units, even with my new $500. But hey, the start of September, I was still extremely tilted. I had the worst Contender Series card where I lost $1,000 just parlaying and donating. And so I had to come back from that and still profit 4 units. It could have been much better. But, usually I do a 6 months overview and then I do an end of year overview. I've been doing 3 different overviews. I did an overview after August because it was the worst month I've ever had in my entire gambling career. I lost $8,000. I lost most of the events. And what I came with is these are all my dot points that I'm going to try to stick to by the end of the year. So we got October, November, December, 3 months, right? I'm not looking to keep it to $500 units. I'm thinking maybe even go up to 1,000 units as of this month, but we'll see. But this is what I've got, right? And if you're not interested in this, you can skip by it. But it's an educational podcast. I'm trying to give, and I'm also documenting my journey as well. So godlike betting, right? I'm gonna have to get in some godlike betting to get out with good profit by the end of the year. So make sure you cap how fights play out for the best reads. This is what I used to do back in the day, right? How the fights would play. That's what saved me with BSD. BSD Moicano main event. I thought BSD would run through him. And then I'm like, how will this fight play out? Well, Moicano probably takes him down early. And then it's like, all right, well, what if he just mauls him with his jiu-jitsu? I'm relying on these get-ups and these butterflies, but what if that doesn't happen? So playing out exactly how fights play out, that's back then I used to be like a prop guy as well. And if you tape more and you play out exactly all the different ways you can play out, then you start to get better reads on props as well. Rather than just going, for example, Brian Battle, more power, better durability, better cardio. He should be the value side, but if you can see like, oh, he might grapple, he might do this, then you can see some hidden submission props. Just an example. Cap how much value there is. That's no brainer, but a lot of the time we don't do this. I just like the guy, I put a unit on it. But if there's like 20 cents value, 30 cents value, it should be like 2 units, right? That's because my staking always needs work. It's okay to pass unless it's a great read. No FOMO. FOMO is the killer. Again, that Gogolagov guy in Aries, I just forced it, even though I couldn't get a good read. Doesn't matter what the line was, there was no value. Avoid forcing, tilting, etc. It will snowball, correct? Some really bad betting. When I force one bet and I lose it, I just keep forcing. It adds up, ends up being a big loss. on a card that I had no bets with. Only bets you can go big on. Again, if you can't put a unit on it, if you're just sprinkling. I had another bet on Ryzen, some little Asian guy fighting Zulu. I only had $100 on it just in case he lost. I cashed it out right before he ended up getting knocked out. If I can't go a full unit on him, that means there's something stopping me. So this is just, we're trying to make profit, a big profit by the end of the year. So you got to stick to these principles. Be patient with live. Go big on the locks. Yep, I've made some bad live bets these last few months. I'm just like too eager to take advantage, but then the fight plays out and I realized it was a bad bet. But if I waited another round, keep it simple, go big, straightforward, right, on the cleaner reads. Be aggressive, reduce later. Don't be scared of parlays. So I'm just trying to make more money, right? I used to love parlays. There's nothing wrong with parlays. Nothing wrong with juice parlays either. So be aggressive. So that's why I have 2 bets now. A lot of the time when I do bets early in the week, I mess up and the bad reads. But it's better to do that, beat the line movement, and then reduce later on than not play it. And then what I do is I just keep passing. For some reason, I keep passing on my locks. So this way, I'll lock him in, and then I'll circle back to him. Think about profit, not loss. Again, staking-wise, sometimes you're scared to put a bet on because you're scared of the money that you will lose. But think about how much money you will win instead. All right, that's going to make you win more money. Right, and then I wrote this a month ago. I didn't realize this is Moicano's line, apparently. Can't afford to lose. That's true. I can't afford to lose. I do this full time, so I have to win. So that's hopefully going to give me some push and dedication to not tilt, to not force things. So definitely can't afford to lose. Don't give up. This is an important one. I just noticed as I'm going through my breakdowns, I've been giving up a lot right before the winning bets. So, for example, when I locked in Kulibao and I locked a couple other bets and he tilted me and I came up to Walker and Walker wasn't one of my favorite bets. I gave up and I got tilted. And I'm like, I'm not losing any more money. And then he wins. A good example when I didn't give up, I was $2,000 down a couple of weeks ago, which $500, that's 4 units for me. That would have been my worst loss. So it's lowering my units. And instead of giving up, I ended up going big on, I ended up playing the round 2 sub for Cody Durden, which got me into profit and then even more. Right, and there's a couple of options, right? There's heaps of these other ones where I give up right before my best bets come, and then I'm not betting anymore. I've lost too much money. But back in the day, I used to just chase, and I always used to bring it back. So don't give up. The good bets are coming, and obviously no complacency. Don't self-destruct. I'd self-destruct a lot. Tilt, and then you just keep betting bad bets. Anyway, that's that. So we'll get into the fights now. I'm really going to try to stick to these principles. A lot of these principles got me here to where I am now. I used to make a lot more money back in the day. Obviously, it's a little bit harder these days. It's quite obvious. The bookies are different, and the lines are tougher. Like, that's obvious, but you can still make good money if you just stick to your principles. I've just been, yeah. And I think a lot of it is just doing this full time, and there's a lot more stress, and we'll see how we go. Britt, hey mate, appreciate the early content. No worries, mate. Hopefully I can do this more often. Mr. X, early tease, what I call when Steve's mum and I have a go in the morning. Well, she's a nice lady, mate. Treat her well. Tristan, you convinced me on your stream with Evan with your take on BSD, so I'll bet him. Well, that sucks, mate, but yeah. He should have ran through him, but yeah. I even talked myself out of it later on. I would never advocate for the money line, though. I hope you didn't play the money line. I did say the unders correlate. Under 1.5, under 2.5. But hey, if you need to blame me, then by all means, my friend, do it. Whatever helps. Mentality is everything in betting. Alrighty. So let's go through this. I guess we'll do a little bit of contender series, right? So I've only done a little bit of tape. Let's see. Fight odds. So I've done a little bit of tape. Jacoby Smith, Saviol. Yeah, I mean, this massive favorite. He makes sense. The Saviol guy looked like a bit of a punching bag. And then I moved on. Abdallah Rami, I know this guy. Let me just see where he's at with his career. I bet a couple of his fights. He was a big underdog to this last guy that he fought. He knocked out in round 1. He hasn't fought since. A lot of cancelled fights. Basically doesn't look like the best grappler. So yeah, Torres Finney, the GOAT, coming back. I get it why he's the favorite, but interesting, I will say this. I really like the over 1.5 in Torres Finney's last fight. I didn't play it. That's on me, and that's something I have to fix for these next 3 months. And now the over is, much juicy. He was pick him then. And I think he's fighting a guy that he has more chance to run through. So interesting. That's all I'll say. David Martinez, I watched 2 of these guys' fights. It seems like the new sexy Mexi, John Castaneda, Mexican guy, just circles on the outside. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know why he's so good. This Xavier Franklin guy reminds me of Melvin Gillard. A little compressed version of Melvin Gillard. All right. What do we got here? Albert Montez, haven't looked into this fight at all. And Dia Nugazai versus Bartos. This is a good light heavyweight fight. It's quite interesting. I know Pierce already smashed this Bartos line, so now it's close to pick him. But yeah, essentially I have a lot more tape to do on these guys. The boy, myself and the boy Subliminal will be doing our show tomorrow, like usual. But I'm going to try and get ahead of these Contender Series lines because, I've been treating it like UFC, leaving it last minute, but I feel there's a lot of line movement on Contender Series. So the last 2 weeks after this one, I'm going to try and get ahead. And, profit might be a little bit far away, but we'll see. You never know how tomorrow goes. Alrighty. ACA, I looked through this, man. There's so many names. I don't think there's point talking about this. You just have to start tackling tape on ACA one by one. 1FC, I know this Bakayang. This is mine and Dog's little short king. We bet him big at minus 200 and he covered. But I looked at this card. I don't know many others, to be honest. Actually, do we have odds for 1FC? Probably not. Nah. The NY Contender Series. Oh, we do. Wait, is this the fight? No. Nothing. Alrighty. So this is what we're here, right? UFC 307, and I have 2 bets. So I thought, why not use this and go on the early tease and chat about it, right? For the first time. So first fight, Tim Means. I mean, what do we have? We have worse than minus 200 and Court McGee. This is a washed fight. If you listen to my show for a bit now, I hate these welterweight wash fights. Morano, Means, McGee, Lima. I hate them all. Max Griffin, they're just all spinning around in circles fighting each other. Big Bird, you convinced me to play Roosevelt Roberts. Fuck you. That's a lie because I hate Roosevelt Roberts' guts, and I've mentioned it. I made that clear on the podcast. Tristan, he was small, but yeah, should have took the under. That sucks, mate. Shit happens. Aussie Fight Fan, what's up? I was going to ask how you were, mate, in Evan's show, but I didn't get a chance. How are you? How you pulling up? Let me know. Dogfather, contender hard to bet with small limits now early. Well, I mean, Dogfather acting like he's got huge units. It's alright, mate. This Contender Series is like everywhere, even in Australia. Surely there's other books that you can bet bigger units on. I agree. That's a good fight with our short king and that Russian. We'll have to dial in, right? Finney didn't get a contract last time because I didn't think it was exciting. You think he gets all after the finish? I don't know, man. I mean, the finish should come on the ground because this other guy's not a good grappler. JJ, BigSteve's the man. Congrats on converting to Judaism. Thank you. Dogfather just making excuses because I bet him to it. Radio. Anyway, yeah, I mean, what do I make of this fight? Tim Means, I think this is probably one of Tim Means' easiest fights in recent times. He's got chin issues. They usually put him against the guy that can absolutely put him out. But he's still beating, Fiallo, who's got power. I don't think Court McGee has any power whatsoever. I don't know, man. Pre-tape, I'm actually considering, I don't know, like laying Court McGee, Tim Means straight. I mean, I could be wrong. Let me just wikicap. Morono, Max Griffin, couldn't knock him out, but he dropped him a lot. Kevin Holland. Darby, he beat Darby. I don't know, man. What's Court McGee going to do to him? Just hold him against the cage for 3 rounds? Yeah, I mean, it's probably not responsible. It's probably not responsible to lay Tim Means juice, but yeah, I mean, maybe it's a parlay piece. Who knows? Alrighty. Aussie Father, Brett says you're well. All painkillers. Definitely surprised McRae. Well, there you go, mate. You're a true blue Aussie if you're recovering that well. I'm glad to hear. 6-hour thinks this card is dog shit. Yeah, I can't disagree, really. The main event is just like, whatever. Yep. Complaining because Pierce ruined both lines. Yeah, welcome to the club. Yeah, that's what Pierce is known for. But good on him, though. Early bird gets the worm, right? All right. Robinson Prue versus Ryan Spann. So I taped this fight originally when they were scheduled, and man, I left thinking there's value on Robinson Prue, but then I quickly moved on because I didn't want to force myself into betting St. Prue and then he just gets knocked out in 30 seconds. But it's clear dog or pass. I have this weird feeling like he's the side. This is an elevation, so I don't know why they put these guys there, but interesting. So I remember not really liking the under. Not really liking the under because Oversense Prue has a decent chin. He has a decent chin, and he doesn't really commit. He doesn't commit to, he just teeps. He teeps and stays on the outside. So I don't even know if he's someone that could potentially take advantage of Ryan Spann's bad chin. So just a fight that I really, really wasn't interested in. Moyes, I don't know why you deleted the original comment, Moyes, but McGee needs brown sugar. He sure does. Lots of raw sexuality in this room, correct? And I'm happy to be the leader of it. If you think I am, Lou. Alrighty, so what do we got next? Carlos Praza, Tisha Pennington. So first bet for me, I've got 1,400, almost 3 units on Tisha Pennington. And full disclosure, I have not taped it. I have not taped it, and I looked at it and I thought, isn't Carla retired? And Tisha Pennington, I know her well. I taped her, I faded her against Dern. I taped her extensively for that. I was really close to playing her against Tabitha Ricci, and I bailed because of the pregnancy. And then I ended up live betting Ricci after round 1 because Tisha looked uncharacteristically gassed. Right, and then I think I got lucky with that decision. I think this is a step down from Tabitha Ricci, who's got great cardio, will keep coming, way better striking than Carlos Praza. Carlos Praza, I went on her Instagram, she's pregnant as well as having a massive layoff. It's a retirement fight. She's always been a split decision merchant, right? Split decision over Rodriguez, split decision of Waterson Gomez, right? Who's been washed for so long, right? Zhao Yang, cool, whatever. Rose Namajunas, I mean, what does that win? Does that win even mean anything? And obviously got ran through by Weili Zhang. So I get it, female juice, but that applies to low women's MMA juice. I think Tisha Torres is a high-level fighter. She's good at get-ups. She's got good cardio, way better on her feet. So what percentage do you give Carla to win a split decision coming off pregnancy and, coming off a huge layoff and retiring? And what is she going to do other than go for takedowns? It seems like a really bad stylistic matchup for Carla on her comeback and her retirement fight. And Tisha's already gone through her pregnancy fight. She almost beat Ricci coming off pregnancy, so she should be more accustomed to the octagon. So full disclosure, almost 3 units, did not tape it. I'm not overthinking things. Just lock it in. I'll think about it as the week goes on, but that's where I'm at. Popeyes. Thought Tisha beat Ricci and Dern. I actually did too. I thought Dern beat her, but maybe I'm biased because I had money on Dern. I think Dern stole one of the rounds when she rocked her at the end. And obviously she won round 2 with that Kimura attempt, so it is what it is. Moyes Audio, Tisha split decision. I would hope not, just because I would like a little bit more value on my play, but yeah. Alrighty. Alexander Hernandez versus Austin Hubbard. Now, this fight right here, I'm really surprised by this line, and I try to get on it and talk about it before I went live. I tried to tape it before I went live, but I didn't get a chance. So that's the first thing I'm going to do, and that's all I'm going to say. Now, I don't have a bet or anything. I get why Hernandez is favorite. Austin Hubbard, has never been the best fighter, never will be. 32 years of age, and came back into the UFC and barely beat Roosevelt Roberts and lost to Kurt Holloway, and then beat Figlak, who I'm not really too high on Figlak either. So I get it. I get the line, but I mean, it's just this current alliteration of Alexander Hernandez doesn't really cover minus money against anyone, really. So that's the first fight I'm going to tape after this. So that's all I'm going to say. Alrighty. Pereira versus Cesar Almeida. Definitely not interested in Almeida. Massive juice. I played him as an underdog versus Kopylov. Kind of annoying, very winnable. He hurt Coppola round 2. No takedowns round 1, no takedowns round 3. Takedown defense. Very hittable. I thought he had an iron chin, and he does. But he just, if you're going to walk into Kopilov's strikes with hands down, you're going to get hurt. So he got buzzed in round 1. He's obviously very green to MMA. That loss should only help him improve. But yeah, there's no doubt about it. It's a dog or pass. And Pereira, if Kopilov can take you down, Pereira can take you down. I have a faint recollection of him actually grappling some fighters. I think he went for a takedown against Brishek. So he's a well-rounded fighter. He's got submissions. So it's a clear dog or pass here. I'm a little bit surprised by this line. I thought, from what people have seen from Pereira, he actually beat Brishek. He almost knocked out Bellado. I thought people would be coming around, and I know people that bet him in those fights, which wasn't for me. But I thought people would come around and the line would be a little bit better, but I guess not. So interesting line there too. Pierce, here we go. Nice. I'll ruin this line before you get off the podcast. I would be mad if I wasn't extremely unsurprised. But thanks, Pierce. You're the best. You're the best. The Big Brand MMA Discord is pretty much filled with Pierce's favorite bets that myself or someone else has told him about, and then he's just ruined it behind our back. But it's all right. He practices give us gain. Every now and then he gives us some good locks himself, so I'll allow it. All right, let's move on. Here we go. SC for all. He's locked in. Lock in, my friend. Let's do it. Elo plus 310 on Ladbrokes. I have to look into it, man. Also, Elo has a good chin, right? So if we're relying on Maida to knock him out, man, I'm actually talking myself into a play, even without tape. We'll see. Buckley minus 145 and Aldo. Interesting. We'll get there. So, Marina Rodriguez versus Lucinda. So this is my second play of the card. So I've locked in Lucinda again. I think same time I locked in the Torres. So I went through just a couple of days where I was just locking in all these women. I was about to lock in that Contender Series women. Then I put in like almost 3 units on whatever, and then I put 2 units on Lucinda at almost pick'em. So I didn't expect this line to close this much. Obviously now I wish I had a lot more. And this is why I'm being a lot more aggressive now, because you can always hedge out if you change your mind. But obviously I can't hedge out. I think I'm just going to leave my 2 units and go from there. But I wasn't overly as confident as one of my friends that told me about it. I think Lucinda still has some issues. She's quite green. Obviously losing to Yasmin Yaragi, who is proved to not be the best. I've never been a fan of Yaragi. She was, considering her line is, her line is always so juicy, and we just seen her get finished by Souza, who I've never been high on. But yeah, that chin is, yeah. And Lucinda lost. She lost a 3-round striking fight. Yeah, it was competitive. She kind of wobbled Yasmin, but yeah, she had a couple of squash matches after that. Brogan Walker and a washed, whatever her name is, I can't remember her name now. Washed Karolina Kovalchik, and just won a 30-27. But yeah, she's got decent striking. I think she can keep it competitive in the striking. I do think she definitely needs to grapple to cover this line. And I will say that this is a step down from someone like Andrade. Andrade actually hurt Marina on the feet. She hurt her with the leg kicks, and the constant pressure really slowed Marina down. And yeah, she might have not been going for takedowns, but when she got them, she stayed on top. Lucinda, I don't know if she's going to proactively go for takedowns. I don't think her wrestling's as good as Andrade. Andrade is this chick that's always been slamming girls with ease. So there's a little bit of complacency there for me, but I've got a lot of line movement. So you have to make Lucinda the favorite, a 60% at least, just because of the grappling upside. Marina has never adjusted. Her get-ups have never improved. We've seen it we've seen it with Werner. Werner, one of my best bets. So much CLV. I told everyone about it, Twitter. But yeah, Lucinda, if she gets on top, but if she doesn't get on top, I think she's going to be at the mercy of Marina. I think Marina hits a lot harder. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see where I'm at, how much I'm going to hedge off. We'll go from there. But yeah, 2 units on Lucinda. I pick him. Dogfather, my bad boss. I'm on Lucinda. Let's go. Yaragi lost hasn't aged well, but I think that more Yaragi's chin being really bad than not. Yeah, she's skilled. She's definitely skilled, but I think Yaragi, even when she fought Hughes, right, not really an impressive performance. She won every round, but do a little bit more. Put on a statement. You got potential to be ranked. Lesbian parlay might print. Always the lesbians, my friend. Always the lesbians. But the thing is, Marina and Lucinda are lesbians, right? Something to think about. Alrighty. Stephen Thompson, Joaquin Buckley. Interesting fight. Striking fight. I don't know how I feel about Buckley at this minus money against Wonderboy. He's always been chinny. I still maintain that he's chinny in my eyes. I have to look into it. There's whispers in the Discord that it's dog or pass, so that might be the case. SC for all, my boy from Sherdog, one of the last remaining non-retarded people on their left. What's the read on Buckley at Juice? Tell me, sir. What do you like about him? Maybe wrestling upside? Let me know. But yeah, I'm not really feeling anything on that one. I have to tape it. It's always tough with Wonderboy because he's always kind of hittable and he's always been old, but he covers his line. What do we got? I should probably look in some totals, right? We got totals. What's the total on that fight? That's quite interesting to me. By the way, I should say the Tisha Torres line was pretty similar to what I locked in already, so that line is still available. Still available. Wow, so the under 2.5, good plus money for Buckley versus Thompson. Yeah, for someone with a lot of power, Buckley doesn't get that many knockouts. He should probably get more, but interesting. Something to look into potentially. Roman Dolidze, Kevin Holland. Alrighty, so how many times must people get burnt on Holland around this price before they start playing? Stop playing him before they learn, and he's worthy of minus money, right? When he's fighting wash guys like Tim Means and Mikhail Olazenchik, who's a white belt, and Michael Chiesa, who's washed, and Ponzinibbio, who's washed. But this guy's lost to not the best guys before, and now he's getting Roman Dolidze. And Roman Dolidze, he's a ranked fighter, and he can grapple, right? So this is interesting. I know already without tape that this is going to be a volatile fight that I'm going to struggle to lock in. But I completely forgot that he fought Anthony Smith. What a reminder. That was such a shit show fight. But I guess he's like to get knocked out. This is going to be such volatility. It's going to be maybe the leader like lying on him, grappling him, and then it's going to be round 3 where he looks completely gassed, and then Holland's going to knock him out, or you're gonna be screaming for Holland to knock him out, but he'll be doing stupid shit. Mr. X thinks Wonderboy is washed. I mean, he's been washed for ages, but I think he can still win fights in the UFC. Mark, Buckley wrestling upside is huge. Yeah, that's what I thought. Fade Roman, bro. Imavov made him look like a little girl. Well, Imavov does that to people, man. I think I've come around on Imavov, and he's a very technical fighter. He can technical his way while looking gassed all the way to the title shot, in my opinion. Don't shit on Imavov, Imavov, man, IQ and technicality between Imavov and Kevin Holland, night and day. Kevin seems dumb enough to fall him to the ground. Correct, but is Dolidze good enough to submit Kevin Holland? I mean, Holland only submitted by Allen, who I think has one of the best rear naked chokes in the UFC. All right, let's move on. Kayla Harrison, Ketlen Vieira. I mean, what is this line? Makes sense. I really hate myself for passing on the under 2.5 in Ketlen's debut. Harrison's debut. Is that live here? Maybe. I know that Vieira has elite takedown defense from my memory. I remember that when I played her against Home and against Misha Tate. But I have to watch that fight against Holly Holm. Kayla Harrison looked better than she's ever looked. She looked not as good, against Aspen Ladd and Pacheco. So maybe bantamweight is her division. If she makes bantamweight, she seems to be an even bigger savage than she was in PFL. So I have to look into that one. I think the under is again minus money. Let me have a look. Where the hell is this fight, you fuckers? Plus money again, under 2.5. Could be the way. I do remember whenever Ketlen is on her back, she doesn't really have good get-ups. And then she lost the fight to the Russian chick, Yana Santos, because she couldn't get up in round 3. And she gasses too, so maybe Harrison breaks her. We'll see. Remember how the fight will play out, lads. How the fight will play out. Taz, why such a long face? That's a good one, mate. I've been getting that a lot through my primary school years. Genetics, I guess. Not mewing enough. Cutting weight. Who knows? Alrighty. Jose Aldo, Mario Bautista. Yeah, another fight that just reminds me of my regret passing against Martinez. I do think Mario is a step up from Martinez and a bit of a tougher matchup. And obviously, it's not in Brazil. And, the line is similar. He's still an underdog. But I'm not against playing Jose Aldo. I have to take this one. I have to remind myself. I think Mario is very messy. I think he was dropped by Simone as well. He's very messy. Can he win a messy fight with Aldo? Aldo could potentially shut him down and outstrike him. So it's got my attention. It's got my attention. What is this Taz guy banging on about? You don't cut no weight. You don't fight, G. What's your record? I've competed like 8 times this year, my friend, in jiu-jitsu. Move to America if you want to get better. Get better or what? What are you talking about? America's a shithole. And so is Australia. I'm moving to Europe. Riding high. Would you wrestle Kayla, Steve? Sure, why not? If it's offered, why not? She would throw me around, but I'm sure I'll get better from it. Jewish better. I miss you. I wish I could stalk your Twitter feed, but you know the story. Big Steve, I'd love to catch a roll with you. Yeah, I would love to roll with you too, my friend. You do all right as long as you just avoid my guillotine, but that's what everyone knows. Taz, America is a shithole. Your country ain't even yours anymore. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you think my country is. Anyway. More shawarma than tea. Anyway, well, that's probably the last time I address the comments for the rest of the feed. Raquel, Pennington, Julianna, Pena. So I'm a Raquel stan. She's been a great underdog all the way up the way through the ranks. 3 fights back to back that I'm regretting stuff. I regretted passing on her against Mara Bena Santos, but that's going to change again. No more passing. But yeah, she's the favorite, and I'm not really interested. How can she be a favorite? Julianna Pena is going to want to grapple. Raquel Pennington loves to grapple when she shouldn't. That's one of her low IQ things. She kept grappling with Buena Silva, even though she was outstriking her. She kept grappling with Penny Counzard, even though Penny was doing better in the clinch. And she won that fight because she outstruck Penny in round 3. She had more eye-catching shots. And I better pick them there. And, I think she was a decent favorite against Macy, but I lied better right before the guillotine. She was a decent favorite against Ladd. I don't know what I played there. Probably nothing. I lied better against Vieira. I was kind of lucky to win that fight, to be honest. But yeah, she just grapples. She loves to grapple. She can't go without her cage pushing. So that's going to give Julianna Pena the fight that she wants. Pena, I did not realize that Pena has not fought since Amanda Nunes. Jesus, 2022. That is, and she's 35 now. So I get it. I get why she's the underdog. She was kind of losing to Sarah McMahon until she turned it around. Beat Nika Montana. Jerome Durandamine, she was kind of beating her too, then got guillotined. But Jerome Durandamine in 2020, a lot more in her prime. Raquel Pennington has a good guillotine. She used it to beat Misha Tate. And she defended all the takedowns with the guillotine, and then she also guillotined Macy Chasson, which not a Macy fan, but that win is aging well. So, yeah, I have a feeling after tape this is going to feel accurate, or I'll be tempted on Pena, but we'll see. We'll see where we're at. And now we're at the main event. I think this deserves a full screen, right? Politown versus Khalil Rountree Jr. Interesting title shot. I love Khalil. The only thing I don't like is his personality. He seems to be a bit of a weirdo, sensitive. Look at my post on Twitter by Sean Strickland that describes him perfect. But yeah, he's getting this title shot after beating Chris Dawkins and Anthony Smith and having a competitive fight with Jacoby. But I think he has a chance here. I think he has a chance. There's a lot of conspiracy theories, about Khalil being a Freemason and why he got his title shot. There's a lot of documentaries. If you're into that stuff, look into it. If they want him to get a title shot, how far will they be willing to go? How powerful is this Freemason connection, And now Pereira, all of a sudden, is a massive favorite. It wasn't this much of a favorite against anyone. Slight favorite to Jamal Hill. Bigger favorite to Jiri. I can't remember how it was originally. Jan, I can't remember, but underdog to Easy twice. Now massive favorite against a really good kickboxer in his own right. And last time, hey, Rountree has beat 2 kickboxers already. But Carl Robertson and old mate, Turkish Mike Tyson. I bet him there as an underdog just because I loved him. I love his striking. And I'm like, this guy's going to strike with him. Anything can happen. I guess that could happen here too, but you have to say that Alex probably has a more complete striking game. But hey, he can be knocked out. Anyone can be knocked out, and he's going to strike Khalil for 3 rounds or 5 rounds. But what I will say, it's interesting that the under 1.5 rounds, again, it's plus money. He went under 1.5 against Jiri. And you can probably just play the juiced unders, under 2.5, under 3.5, and get away with it because that's pretty much what happens in every Portland fight. But I got to look into it. Obviously, I'm not rushing. I don't think this line's going to go anywhere. But just interesting main event, What to say about it? Not much. Alrighty. Now that's it. Banger co-main event. Julianna's striking is elite. I can't disagree. Nice peach. It will be a weird world if Khalil is champ. I guess it would, but would it be weirder than having Bilal and Marab as champions? This would fit perfectly with the criteria of UFC. Just weird champions. It'll be weird, but I think Khalil would be a draw. But I don't know. Like the UFC definitely doesn't want Pereira to lose. But wouldn't it just be so poetic if this is the last cash cow they have left, Alex Pereira, and they're kind of trying to keep him. They're trying to keep him proactive and busy, and obviously they don't have any other pay-per-view stars to headline events. So they just give him a Khalil for an easy win. Wouldn't it just be poetic if he got knocked out and Khalil is the new cash cow? That would be great. I think that's what the UFC is doing. It seems like there's a risk, but there really isn't. If Khalil gets a knockout, they have a new superstar, right? So plus the Freemasons will be happy. So more Zodio. Although we come to the end of the road, still you're just singing. It's good to know you're singing, mate. All right, that's it. Well, what else do we have? Do we have any other? Fury FC. I don't think there's point in me getting into it because I'm not going to know anything without tape. Pena Alamov, I know him. Mo Miller, I know him. Shimura, I know him. But I just don't know any of the opponents, so it's kind of pointless. Yeah, that's it. So, show tomorrow in the morning. Tune in with my boy Subliminal and myself. He's done well last week. I've done well. We do really well on Contender Series. Our reads are great. It's just I myself bet like a retard more often than not. But yeah, tune in tomorrow, same time as always, 8 a.m. Australia time. And yeah, I got 2 bets. 2 bets already for this. I'm kind of leaning Team Means at Juice. We'll see. It's going to be send pre or pass. I have almost 3 units on Tisha. Someone stop me. Tell me if that's bad. I'm really leaning Austin Hubbard. I have to see this. I'm really leaning Pereira. I have to tape. I have 2 units on the Sindo. I pick him. Obviously, I'm going to tape all these main card fights. I think there's potential. People are shitting on this card, but there's potential. There's potential. I have a feeling like the last part of this year, the triggers are going to be pulled. There's the cards just feel more bettable, and it's a little bit weird that we don't have a lot of regionals this week. All right, Contender Series and then ACA. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 25 fights for ACA. God damn, dude. Anyway, that's it. Like and subscribe. Peace out. See you tomorrow.